Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the education system and how it might be affecting students in more of a negative way than a positive one.
Yes.
Also, we'll talk about some ways you can reduce your stress and anxiety through some techniques that we found online through some reputable sources, along with one from me and one from him.
Right. Just personal experiences that, it could help you in your future.
Yep. And also, we want to thank you guys for all the support on our previous videos.
Gosh, you guys are killing it.
Right?
I mean, God.
Taking off.
Take off. Heck yeah. So that's what's up. We really appreciate it, guys. That's what's up.
Always remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what we can do better and topics that we can talk about
maybe some
next.
topics. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something interesting that you would like to see on the channel. Because honestly, we're down to talk about anything. So just drop it down. Anything. That's why we call it the Everything Said Show.
But
so go ahead.
This is from like a student perspective.
Yeah,
school, the education system, college, and how everyone graduating and going off to college soon. It's a different world. I mean, you're becoming your own adult once you leave high school.
Exactly.
Responsibilities are going to be more in your hands.
Right. There's no one babysitting.
Yeah, which is like high school is kind of a guided line. Okay, you do this. You're in class, so you have to do this in this time, which is in college, depending on if you're doing on campus or online, it can vary. Right. And a lot of times you're set to make your own schedule that works for you. Like you have to
make a balance.
Yeah.
Make a balance.
Or you can easily just go off.
Yeah.
And
you don't want that in college because
once that happens,
easily veer off.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had that.
Of course. But it's learning.
It is learning, and with you have school. And then you also have your personal life.
Right.
So that's something you kind of got to balance it out and find a way, an easy in between to figure out what works best for you. Of course.
Especially if you're serious about what you want to go into, it's definitely you gotta plan your stuff ahead because it can be, you never know what can go on in your life and you never know what can be added with assignments in college. It's a blank space.
It is. For this topic, we did some research since it's such a broad topic, and we just went on a few websites, reputable, and we'll link them down in the description.
Yeah.
I actually have my phone here because these are some comments I'm going to be reading off of students and teens who actually went through this and how they view their school life versus their personal life and how it's affecting them. So one student actually said that a little stress is a good thing. It can motivate students to be organized, but too much can backfire. And you want to let's go a little more in depth in that whole quote on what they say, which is pretty much saying that without a doubt that stress can actually push someone to doing and accomplishing really good things in their life, but too much of it can actually break them down.
Yeah, it's important not to get overly stressed, but it can't it is very stressful for a lot of students because like we said earlier, you're balancing your own time.
There's a lot of aspects to the situation.
Correct.
School, personal life, etc.
Right.
So that's just one student. Another student posted saying, "My weekend assignments include 2 papers, a PowerPoint that goes with a 10-minute presentation, studying for a test, and 2 quizzes, and an entire approximately 40 pages of notes in a college textbook."
That's a lot.
That's for the weekend.
That's a lot. and that's a lot.
And we're taking summer classes, which is a bit more it's
way more
faster,
condensed.
right?
Well, it's faster, but it's all that information.
And we're noticing pretty much the same thing. You can, I can say that. Can you?
Yeah,
with your classes.
Sure. I mean, for one of my classes, they're asking 20 20 questions, and I have like 4 of those assignments, and they're due in like not even a week's time. You know, it's crazy, you know.
It's you just, like I said, it's like a balance, and just too much of that, it can overwhelm a person.
For sure.
Like, we've been doing this. How many years have you been going to school? Like,
for me, 2 years. You're going on your first?
No, like in general.
General.
Like,
so like
entire school.
From like what, first grade to like now, so it's been 12, 13, 14 years?
14 years of school, and we'll still run into these things, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I mean, it will, you know, and that's a challenge that you will have to take. I guess you could look at it from a perspective of, as maybe when you work at like your future job, you know, that you've worked at, and then your boss is saying, all right, you're gonna have to do this. Like, let's say you already became like manager or like supervisor, and he gave you like a bunch of assignments that you had to do. I guess that's where that could come in.
So then it's, you know, you can look at it from two different ways.
Right.
Yeah. One final quote that I got is actually relating to parents, and this is one student said, "All I hear is work harder. You're a smart kid. I know you have it in you. And if you want to go to college, you need to work harder." And then she said, "That's a pain to hear."
That is a pain, because imagine, you know, it's like almost saying, that person is smarter than me.
Because,
you know,
the school system,
but you can't think like that.
The education system has changed dramatically from when, say, our parents went to school versus from how we're going to school right now. FCAT, PSATs, SATs, all that was not a thing back in their time. It was, but it wasn't as
probably different.
Yeah, it was dramatically different. Right. Because I talk to my parents all the time, and it's nothing compared to what they had growing up.
Going to school and college, high school and college.
Yeah, it was nothing compared to that. So you have parents pressuring you, and you look up to your parents.
Correct.
For a lot of things. So you have them pressuring you, oh, you know, you're going to do great, you're going to go to this school and stuff like that. It can really,
it could push your limits. Yeah, it could really, like, push your limits.
Because you want to make them proud, but at the same time, your capacity is only so much.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there's only so much you can do. And it's like, sometimes as a college student, you feel like, dang, like, my parents are telling me, like, great, it's great, you know, people are pushing you, your friends are pushing you, your parents, your aunts and uncles. But, you know, when you go sit down, sometimes you're like, holy crap, this is a lot, you know? And it can be crazy for a lot of us.
I think the best word that can sum that up is overwhelming. It can be overwhelming, especially coming from like your loved ones. Right. So what are some stuff that you actually found on this topic, on this issue?
Okay, so like 3 things that I've found that are pretty much very common, especially like we found very common, is difficult classes, finances, and safety. I believe these are very like important.
And those are main.
Very important. Yep. I feel like for even like the new high schoolers that are graduating, this is very important for them to know. Like, university might be great, you know, but like, is it financially good, stable for you and your family? Is it safe for you to go to? And as well as, you know, like, all classes are difficult, but you know, it's not everywhere's gonna be Stanford.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like I said, the link will be in the description.
Also, there's a little test that you guys can take if you want to know if you're stressed out or not.
Oh,
so we'll also have that down in the description.
Did not know. Cool.
Yeah, I'm very stressed out, believe it or not.
Aren't we all? So, one of the first things it says is, colleges are very aware of it, yet they do not really know much to help. Many colleges offer some sort of counseling for their students, paid by the student fees each semester, but they do not really advertise those services. Because of that, many students do not know about the counseling services, and one out of the ones who do know about the services, many still don't know how to access them. And I feel like that's something that's very important to know, especially when you're under a lot of pressure. From, like, you could go talk to your parents, of course, you know, but some people kind of need a little mental help.
Outside
you know,
help.
because a lot of people, you know, can emotionally break down, you know, and then we've seen that even with a lot of our friends, and you can do that.
And then too, counselors are trained on different topics and issues and situations, so they can go about dealing with something a little bit better. They have more knowledge.
Correct.
And you can actually gain a lot more insight from them rather than your parents.
Right.
And your parents might not know how to go about a certain situation, which as a counselor will.
They do.
So that's also something to consider.
Correct. So my second is how difficult they can be. And it says, college students begin classes knowing that they are going to have to work for the grade that they want. They also know that they are going to have teachers who are going to be much more difficult than others.
Yeah.
So we've seen this. I mean, and it's like you've seen that with kind of high school, but college takes it to a different level. And it's not necessarily, I also read that it's also not all the teachers' fault, you know, because a lot of people want to blame the professor, and it can be very difficult, you know, and I hope that most professors could understand that and possibly tweak a couple stuff to possibly make the students' life a little bit easier, especially with a class that they might not be the strongest at. All right, my next one is finances. You have to have your finances pretty straight, I believe, and we agree with this mostly. I feel like a lot of other people too, especially when you're a college student and if you're paying for the class. What I found from the article said in-state students at MTSU have to pay an average of $8,836 in tuition and fees during the 2018 year.
Wow.
That's just like, can you, $8,000? That's almost $10,000, bro.
That's a lot.
And you know, and then let's see, and if they live on campus, they are expected to pay another $8,000 on top of that $8,000. And you know, and that's just one university, you know.
Yeah, there's some.
There's some that might be less,
way higher prices,
but
and some that
but
have
like,
less.
I mean, even that's pretty low for some of them, because you know we got University of Miami, and that's how much a year? Like I don't know, but it's very expensive, and plus it's private.
See, where I came from, we only had like one university.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they're saying one study estimates the price for 1 year in a public university will cost around $102,900 in 2029. We're talking about our future kids, and if you're watching, we're talking future. 100, like most Americans can't afford that. You know, I mean,
the average household.
$102,900 for 1 year.
Luckily, though, there's like these scholarships.
Right, exactly, correct.
Gave out.
I saw recently on the news, actually on an article, I didn't read it, but I saw it said an anonymous funder like paid off I think around $8 million of like first generation students that just graduated. That's crazy, you know. So you never know. I mean, you may be in luck wherever you are, but I mean, that's pretty nice for someone to actually go out their way and just pay off all your stuff. Because I mean, especially in what we live in the society now, I mean, things are just only gonna get more expensive.
We're actually gonna talk about some ways to actually deal with stress and anxiety, relief, all that. First thing is to create a schedule, especially in college.
Yes. Because
you're out on your own for the most part, and if you leave everything to the last minute and procrastinate, it gets bad. Trust me, I did it, and it's not good.
Very bad.
So find a schedule that works best for you. Don't be afraid to overestimate. Don't give yourself more time. If anything, do that more. Right,
yeah. It's better to give yourself more time than no time, because you never know. They might even drop more assignments. And luckily, you know, you're like, okay, I'm a little bit ahead, you know, so it doesn't affect me? And you're gonna learn this process as you go through, and it's all like a learning, thing. You don't want to give up on learning, because it also helps you in real life to like
you said, like workforce,
right? Exactly.
Right? So that's one way. Don't just create a schedule that works best for you. It gets overwhelming. You just gotta create something in such a way that it helps you evaluate your time and focus a little bit more. The next thing is keep in contact with your friends and your family. If you're going and live on campus, you're away from your family and your friends for the first few weeks, and even throughout your semester, it's gonna get tough. You're gonna find some little potholes that you're gonna fall into, and it's gonna be hard.
Especially now you're on your own. You don't even, so it's not like you can go talk to your mom and dad and just sit with them like as if you did before. Now it's like you live far away from them.
Yep.
But you can just pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
That is
phone call, FaceTime, video chat, whatever it is. You just want to have that moral support from your family and your friends, and they can help guide you along with what we talked about, having that counselor nearby.
Keeping your contacts very big, but make sure they're beneficial to you.
The main thing is to like talk about it. Just get it out of your system rather than keeping it in, because then it hurts you more.
Right. Yeah. The gym.
Yes. That's something you're gonna hit on,
or something like related to that, something therapeutical,
physical exercise, anything that takes your mind off of what's going on in your life. Something that has worked for me, and this is what I'm suggesting because I do it, is take a minute, take a break from everything you're doing, step outside or in a nice, comfortable outdoor area where it's quiet and away from everything. Minimum 5 minutes, and this can be as long as you really want it to, but a minimum of 5 minutes. Just clear your head.
Meditation's a good
meditation. That's one way of doing it. Breathing techniques and stuff. And that clears you out, that refreshes your mind, so that when you go back into it, you feel refreshed, you feel brand new. You can take another 60 question test and you'll be like, wow. All that stress that you had because you're frustrated, now it's kind of like you took the time for yourself to just breathe and just relax a little bit. Like I said, there's a link down below. You can actually go, you can read all this stuff up, and there's also the link that you can actually check your stress levels and see if you're stressed out or not, and just how much stress you're under. This is really just like a quick video where we kind of talk about how the school situation is going and how it might be negative rather than positive, and some ways to kind of cope with all this change and stress free zone, creating a better area for yourself to study, to live life, and all that. I mean, anything else you want to add? No.
I think we hit the jackpot.
Hit the jackpot. Making money.
Money.
Anyway, guys, it's been fun. Always remember, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know anything that you want to hear us talk about. Also, let us know what you do to relieve stress whenever you feel like you're under pressure.
For sure.
I mean, that's it, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Deuces.